tough back-to-back, and that's why that's what makes this loss even more frustrating. Is that we got to get into Houston at 3 o'clock, whatever it is, because the NBA and its infinite wisdom makes us play an 8:45 game, and they clearly don't care about rest or player health. It's just ratings and all that stuff.
Really, Stevie? Really? Of all the problems in this league, of all the things that the NBA willingly gives us to complain about, you want to complain about back-to-back games? You want to complain about traveling from Dallas to Houston to play a game the following night? I could get on a bus and make it from Dallas to Houston in 3 or 4 hours. On a plane, you can make it from Dallas to Houston 45 minutes. And it's not like these are WNBA planes that we're talking about here. NBA players aren't flying around in crop dusters. They're not flying around in a single-engine Cessna. Hell, they're not even flying first class. These dudes are traveling on some of the nicest planes in the world. And you mean to tell me that a 45-minute flight could prevent the aging fossils on your roster from playing in back-to-back games? No wonder this league is struggling. No wonder their dwindling fan base has a difficult time relating to the players. Let me ask you something. All my men out there who are working in plants, steel mills, chemical plants, how many of you guys have worked a 12, maybe 14-hour shift, and you got to turn around and go back to work the next day? If you called your boss that morning and told him that couldn't make it to work that day because you had a bruised caboose, or you couldn't come to work because you had a boo-boo on your ankle, how long would you be able to keep your job? Last week, we had a mandatory meeting at my kid's school. Here in a couple of months, the band is going on a trip to Orlando where they are performing. They leave on a Thursday morning. They'll get back very, very late on a Sunday night, midnight, maybe 1 o'clock in the morning. The band director is going with them, and one of the main points that he reiterated at the meeting last week was that everyone is expected to be at school on Monday morning. There will be no absences because I'm tired. You can't miss school because I'm exhausted from the trip. And that is the band director included. He's got to be at work on Monday too after spending 4 days chaperoning a bunch of high school kids in Orlando, which is a hell of a lot harder than playing basketball. If those kids can do it, if her band director can do it, a guy who's probably making, I don't know, $60,000 a year, how come NBA players can't find the energy to work when they're making $60 million? Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. If you happen to stumble upon this video, be sure to check out my main channel, Behind the Line. Later this morning on the main channel, going to be talking about the annual disaster known as the NBA All-Star Game. Link to the main channel's in the description below. We often criticize NBA players for missing games, and rightfully so, but players missing games, I think that is the symptom to the real problem. If you order a pizza and it's 2 hours late, and when it finally arrives, it's cold, you don't blame the driver. You don't call the driver and complain. You call management. You call the people responsible for the problem. You call the people who can resolve it. NBA players missing significant time in the regular season, that is the symptom. Ultimately, the responsibility, it falls on the coaches and the league for allowing it. For the better part of a decade, the NBA has been paralyzed by analytics. They have these doofus experts who run these elaborate formulas that are supposed to get maximum efficiency from players. Zion Williamson can play 28 minutes per night. If he plays 29 minutes, there is a 50-50 chance that Zion could sprain his fingernail. We have all this analysis. We have all this technology that's supposed to prevent injuries. And NBA players, They are missing more time than ever before. 3 years ago, Brandon Ingram, he missed damn near 3 months over a toe contusion. Translation, he had a bruise on his toe. 3 damn months over a bruised toe. B.I. has missed most of this season over a sprained ankle. My daughter has an ankle sprain right now. She's playing a soccer game later tonight. The players, they take the bulk of the blame, which is fine, but coaches are also to blame. NBA coaches, they used to have to protect players from themselves. Today, NBA coaches, they can't get the players to play. Hell, you just heard Steve Kerr whining and complaining about players being forced to play back-to-back games. I mean, God forbid they have to show up to work. God forbid they have to play basketball for 2.5 hours. This league can't get the hell out of their own way. The thing is, the NBA product, it's not bad. The Western Conference is so competitively balanced, games in the regular season, they actually matter. And I'm not talking about games in March, I'm talking about games in December, January, they matter. One loss in January could be the difference between the play-in and the playoffs. But for some reason, coaches and players in this league, they are constantly complaining about having to work. Maybe if these dudes played basketball more often, it would prevent injuries. This was never a problem in the NBA until Greg Popovich started resting his starters. Before that, it was unfathomable to rest players for rest. Now, to his credit, David Stern tried to put a stop to it, but he was on his way out of the league when player empowerment was starting to take over. Unfortunately, the dude that replaced him was Captain Beta, the weakest commissioner in sports. Adam Silver allowed this problem to be magnified, and now it has taken over the NBA. Coaches aren't afraid to complain about it publicly. That clip I just showed you of Steve Kerr, that press conference, that was last Wednesday night. I have been sitting on that for a week, and Adam Silver has yet to address it. We're going to get into Adam Silver on the main channel this morning and how he's not only destroyed the All-Star game, Adam Silver has destroyed the entire league. But in the meantime, give me your thoughts on this. Steve Kerr, he is once again complaining about his fragile players having to play back-to-back games. Who is more to blame here? The players or the coaches who allow it to happen? Or Adam Silver in the NBA front office? You tell me. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you on the main channel.